It's a new year, which means new laws go into effect today on both sides of the state line. In Kansas, you'll see most changes take effect in July, but you'll see a big one start today, and you'll likely notice its impact on your grocery bill. The food sales tax rate now goes down from 6.5% to 4%. That means you'll spend less in taxes on food and food ingredients. But the tax stays the same for alcohol, tobacco, and most prepared foods. It'll drop again to 2% next year before being axed altogether in 2025. This has been a long-fought issue for Governor Laura Kelly, who tried to get the state legislature to eliminate the sales tax, but Republicans wouldn't budge on that. They did the gradual phase out. She says she's still committed to get rid of it before 2025. On the Missouri side, minimum wage workers will make more money in the new year. The rate is now $12 an hour, up from $11.15. This is the last of 5 wage hikes approved by voters 5 years ago. So unless another ballot measure goes through or the federal government changes its minimum wage, $12 an hour will be the minimum from here on out. And here's another big change in Missouri. People experiencing homelessness can now be punished for sleeping on state land. It is now a Class C misdemeanor, which could lead to a fine of up to $750. Missouri Attorney General can sue any local governments that don't enforce the law and can take away all state and federal funding to help with homelessness. There is much more to this new law that we'll be watching in the days and weeks ahead, rest assured. We're also keeping a close eye on Jefferson City, where a push to make many more new laws is already in the works. Missouri lawmakers head back to the state capitol for the start of the legislative session this week, and already more than 800 bills are pre-filed and ready for politicians, tackling everything from taxes to school funding to sports betting. So what rises to the top after extreme gridlock last year? Will lawmakers be able to get anything done in 2023? That's the question. Brian Ellison is back to discuss the year ahead, along with Rudy Keller, deputy editor for the Missouri Independent. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's start with the leadership changes in the House and Senate. Rudy, will this help move things along in Jeff City this year?
Well, it seems as though that could be the case. Happy New Year to everyone in Kansas City, especially the 1,000+ people who will be driving to Kansas to place a bet before the Chiefs play the Broncos. The new leadership in the Missouri Senate is going to be a familiar name. Caleb Rowden will be the Senate President Pro Tem. He was previously the majority leader, but we have a woman from Northeast Missouri, Cindy O'Laughlin, who's the Senate Majority Leader now. And she is determined, she tells me in an interview I did last week, there will not be a repeat of the gridlock that the Senate endured last year.
Well, that is the question, right? There's no conservative caucus anymore. The members are still there, though. Many of them are. So
exactly.
What do you do with that?
I think it's time will tell in that case, but I do find it unlikely, Cody, that those conservative members are going to drop their lists of demands, their concerns about taxes, their concerns about social issues like transgender rights or critical race theory being taught in schools. Those are issues that are going to come up again this session, and they will have leverage, just as they had last year, to keep progress from happening if they choose to use it.
Right, and you see a lot of those issues, like you just mentioned, in the hundreds and hundreds of pre-filed bills right now.
Right, the pre-filed bills are an interesting thing, Cody. Trying to guess what's going to happen in a legislative session based on the list of pre-filed bills is a little like reading the menu at Cheesecake Factory. It takes you a while, and at the end you still don't have any idea what you're having for dinner. I think that's true of the Missouri pre-filed bills system. However, we do get a taste of it, and one of the things we would notice from that list of pre-filed bills is that there's more than 10 bills dealing with so-called saving women's sports, trying to prevent transgender athletes from competing in their gender of identity in schools. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, because the Democrats in the Senate have vowed that they won't let any of that legislation pass. If the conservatives in the Senate push for it, who knows what's going to come out.
Rudy, going with Brian's metaphor here, what's the biggest issue on your plate?
Clearly, the transgender sports issue is going to be one that is going to take a lot of time. Senator O'Laughlin said she wanted to have a bill finished by the legislative spring break in March. She also wants to deal with CRT and have a bill. And Brian identified the real problem here is that a bill that Democrats could support, say on the transgender issues, is likely to get a lot of conservative pushback. Sports wagering, I think, is the issue that everyone is going to be the one that people will pay the most attention to. It's a fairly simple idea. Can you wager on the Royals, on the Chiefs, while you're sitting in the comfort of your home in Kansas City, Missouri, Or do you have to drive over to Kansas City, Kansas, so that your phone is outside of the geo-fenced area? Another issue that is going to take a lot of time is going to be how you deal with amending the Constitution through the initiative process.
Right.
This has been something that's been pushed for a number of years. They want to either make it more difficult to get on the ballot, which is already very difficult, or they want to make it more difficult to pass something by increasing the majority necessary for a citizen initiative compared to something put on the ballot by lawmakers.
Right. We saw what happened with recreational marijuana last year, and Republicans are like, hold on a second.
A lot of concern about that among conservatives. And Cody, let's not forget that the major issue on the legislature's agenda every year is the state budget. $47 billion, all social services, lots of education, spending on transportation and roads. It's all essential, and it's all on the agenda come January 4th.
A lot to talk about, and we know that we'll be talking to you both this session. Brian Ellison, Rudy Keller, thank you so much.